Right now at 10, the manhunt continues for the Charlie Kirk murder suspect. New details emerging after the conservative activist is killed in Utah.
Federal flood relief heading to Wisconsin. The millions of dollars being earmarked after last month's historic flooding.
Plus, honoring our nation's veterans. We tag along as local former service members take a trip to Washington, D.C. And that's all coming up on News 3 now at 10. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Sarah Carlson.
And I'm Eric Franke. The Utah Department of Public Safety says multiple leads are being investigated in the shooting death of Charlie Kirk, but no suspect is in custody.
And President Trump is speaking out about the search for the gunman. Reporter Erica Brown has more from the White House.
With a manhunt underway, the FBI released video and photos of a person of interest in the deadly shooting of conservative activist Charlie Kirk as he spoke at a Utah university on Wednesday.
Upper building, he's going to come out on the right, moves to this far right corner. As he does, he's going to climb off the edge and then drop down to the ground. As he did that, he left some palm impressions. There's some smudges, some places we're looking to collect DNA. There's a shoe imprint where we believe the suspect is clearly identified as wearing Converse tennis shoes.
Investigators found clues including a high-powered hunting rifle in a wooded area along the path the shooter fled. A $100,000 reward is being offered for information leading to an arrest. Kirk's body was flown on Air Force Two, the vice president's plane, from Utah to Arizona, where he lived with his family. As President Trump departed for New York to attend a Yankees game Thursday night, he spoke about the search for the shooter.
He's an animal, total animal, and hopefully they'll have him and they'll get him. What he did is disgraceful. Charlie Kirk was a great person, a great man, great in every way, especially with youth. And what he did, what this man did, was disgraceful. So hopefully we'll have him and we will deal with him very appropriately.
The president also said he spoke with Kirk's wife.
We had a long talk and she's devastated. She is absolutely devastated, as you can imagine.
Trump says he plans to award Kirk a posthumous Presidential Medal of Freedom. Erica Brown, CBS News, the White House.
Utah's governor said so far investigators have received more than 7,000 leads and tips and completed some 200 interviews.
Meanwhile, Wisconsin Congressman Derek Van Orden is blaming members of the media for Kirk's death. On the steps of our state capitol this morning, Van Orden was asked an unrelated question about the shooting. He responded like this before waving reporters off with his hand.
Every single one of you here, you're at fault. Hey, you know what? Knock it off. Knock it off.
Do you believe Republicans are problematic?
You are responsible for that assassination yesterday. You should be ashamed of yourself.
What about the Democratic lawmakers?
Previously, Van Orden posted on X that he was praying fervently for Kirk's family and called the shooting left-wing political violence. They also said, quote, "The gloves are off." Again, investigators are still looking for the suspect and have not determined a motive at this time.
Officials are sharing more information about a shooting that happened yesterday at a high school in suburban Denver. Authorities say students at Evergreen High School scrambled when 16-year-old Desmond Holley started shooting with a revolver, wounding two peers before killing himself. Hundreds of law enforcement officers across the Denver metro area raced to the scene to help, while officials set up a reunification center for parents at another school. Law enforcement praised school staff for acting quickly to lock down classrooms.
He would fire and reload, fire and reload, fire and reload. This went on and on. And as he did that, he tried to find new targets. And he came up against a roadblock on many of those doors. He couldn't get to those kids.
Now, as for a motive, authorities say Holley was, quote, radicalized by an extremist network. Classes at Evergreen High School are canceled today and also tomorrow. Meanwhile, multiple historically black colleges and universities in several states were put on lockdown today due to threats. Virginia State University in Ettrick, Virginia, had to abruptly close due to a threat. VSU did not elaborate on what type of threat it received. However, the school said no injuries were reported. Students that live on campus were told to remain indoors. Hampton University also closed due to a potential campus threat. Several other HBCUs were also placed on lockdown due to potential threats. We'll keep you up to date with the latest information on all of these stories. Simply download the Channel 3000 News app. Search Channel 3000 wherever you get your apps.
Turning to weather now, we have a warm weekend ahead for the Madison area.
And Alex, we're going to reach into the 80s once again.
Oh yeah, well into the 80s. 85 Saturday, 86 on Sunday. Chance of some showers and thunderstorms Friday night that could last into Saturday. The longer they last into Saturday could mean that Saturday might end up being a touch cooler. I'm thinking Sunday that chance of rain is significantly less, so we're very likely going to get that 86, and we can't rule out a couple places approaching 90 degrees in some of those spots that tend to get a little bit warmer. Also, part of our forecast here, 4 o'clock on Friday morning, widespread patchy dense fog across southern Wisconsin. Some visibilities possibly getting as low locally as 0. And if you have any travel down I-94, I think that's where that concentration of that dense fog is going to likely be the highest. So just take it easy during that morning commute for work or for school. And that fog will eventually burn its way off here as we head towards Friday, leaving us to a very nice day. Now we got some rain chances Friday night going into Saturday. Some updates with our weather models that I'm going to show you here when I come back in about 10 minutes or so. We're going to track the possibility of those showers and storms Friday night going into Saturday and who might get them.
All right, thank you, Alex. President Trump said he has approved nearly $30 million in disaster relief funds for Wisconsin following that historic flooding last month. According to a post on X, Senator Ron Johnson says that he had a great call with the president and also thanked Representatives Brian Stile of Janesville and Representative Scott Fitzgerald of Juneau. FEMA crews conducted damage assessments throughout southeastern Wisconsin last month, which led to the approval of this funding.
A 91-year-old is at the hospital tonight after being hit by a vehicle in Janesville. The crash happened this morning near the intersection of West Delavan Drive and South Jackson Street. Police say a vehicle leaving a business parking lot hit the 91-year-old. The victim was taken to a hospital, later flown by MedFlight to UW Hospital. Their injuries are being called life-threatening. No charges have been filed. The investigation is ongoing.
And today marks 24 years since the deadly September 11th terror attacks that killed nearly 3,000 people and forever changed the nation. At the World Trade Center site in New York, the somber tradition ceremony commemorating the date took place today, and with one goal in mind, to honor the victims of the largest terror attack on American soil ever. Relatives of the victims read their loved ones' names out loud and described how the tragedy continues to impact their lives.
And my father, Robert David Puglisi, he has 2 grandsons now in California named Vincent and Alexander, and it's not fair that he didn't get to meet them, and we miss him.
At the Pentagon, President Trump took part in a commemoration honoring the 184 people killed there. And in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, a wreath was laid in memory of the passengers and crew killed aboard United Flight 93.
Meanwhile, here in Wisconsin, members of Governor Tony Evers' administration came together to honor the lives lost on 9/11. At Lake Kagonza State Park in Stoughton, they came together for acts of service. The governor declared a state day of service and remembrance to honor those who died that day.
By coming together today, we show that we can honor the past by building a brighter future. We roll up our sleeves today, whether it's to help clean, plant, or restore. We're creating an amazing outdoor recreation opportunity for our neighbors, for our families, and for generations to come. No act of service is too small, and when we work together, the impact can be extraordinary.
A list of potential volunteer opportunities, including virtual options, can be found on the Volunteer Wisconsin website. Today, on September 11th, we're also thinking about servicemen and women who have fought for our freedom through many generations.
And we're giving you a glimpse into the flight that honors their bravery and sacrifices. Photojournalist Chris Hawbaker shows us the latest Badger Honor Flight.
Today is mission number 61.
Whether you served in Korea, Vietnam, or in the years that followed, your actions shaped the course of history.
Try and get our photo shoot out right away.
At the Iwo Jima Memorial for primarily here for the Marine Corps. You know, it was a very difficult battle, and it's on both sides. Many people died over this island. These 5 individuals raising the flag over Mount Suribachi, and it's fortitude of the United States back in the time of the greatest generation.
You can see the groan or the grunt on their faces as they're lifting up the flag. I've got a friend at home, and he says he was on site when they lifted the flag.
Gives us a chance to see things that we haven't seen for the people that's done a lot. So
some it's closure, some that, you know, they have friends, family, names on the wall. whether they served with them or knew them.
All this thanks to my uncle that was in Korea and what he had to go through, seeing this healing. I'm a Vietnam vet. Healing is one of the biggest things.
I get to travel here. I get to put back together the memories that I had. What a golden opportunity this is.
It's awesome because we get a chance to meet our fellow veterans.
It's the camaraderie of all the different branches of service when you have the veterans put together like this.
Coming in, it's really great. They give us a welcome home. So.
Once you get off the plane, get to the top of the escalator and you hear that band. And you're seeing folks from one end of the airport all the way almost towards baggage claim. That's what it's all about. We've given these veterans here the welcome home that they never got.
And the home of the
And a huge thank you to photojournalist Chris Hawbaker for compiling that story. And for the full-length version, there is more. You can head to our website, channel3000.com.
Well, the Henry Vilas Zoo is mourning the deaths of two of its animals tonight. The zoo announcing Franklin the meerkat was euthanized back on August 29th following what they describe as a quick decline in health. He was 14 years old. The average life expectancy of a meerkat in the wild is 6 to 8 years. And then on Monday, Slothra, a Hoffman's two-toed sloth, died of natural causes. She was 44 years old, one of the oldest of her species at any AZA-accredited zoo in the entire world. The average life expectancy for a wild Hoffman sloth, 12 to 20 years. In a zoo setting, it is 32.
Well, ahead at 10, Alex tells us if we'll see any rain this weekend.
And inflation on the rise. We'll detail how tariffs and artificial intelligence are making life more expensive for the average American. That's next.
You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
Welcome back. Consumers are feeling the pinch. The latest government data shows inflation rose in August, about in line with expectations.
But weekly jobless claims jumped too. Kelly O'Grady with the details from the New York Stock Exchange.
The basic necessities are costing Americans more. The latest consumer price index out Thursday shows inflation accelerated last month, rising 2.9% annually. That's up from 2.7% the previous month, the biggest jump since January.
Obviously, as we get towards 3%, people are feeling the pinch.
Price pressures are showing up most notably in shelter and food costs, up 0.4% and 0.5% respectively in August. Personal chef Ari Kramer says farmers markets may offer the cheapest options.
Your base grocery store is, I'd say, anywhere from 10 to 25% more expensive per item.
Tariffs are weighing on prices for items like furniture, apparel, and motor vehicle parts. Many are imported from elsewhere, and experts say artificial intelligence is zapping your electricity bill.
All these companies pouring billions of dollars creating the electricity needed to deliver AI to us is causing our own bills to rise.
You can also expect more tricks than treats this Halloween.
The overall category of candy up by more than 8% year over year. I suspect that's going to head towards 10% as we get closer to Halloween.
And in a continuing sign of a softening labor market, new jobless claims last week rose to their highest level in almost 4 years.
The Federal Reserve will try to balance the seesaw between labor and inflation when it meets next week, but all signs are pointing to that long-expected benchmark interest rate cut.
Well, the weekend quickly approaching, and we will stay warm.
But will we see any rain? Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington has the answer.
I sure do. Increasing chances of rain now as we go into Friday night and Saturday. Right now, it's just a stray shower, but some of our latest weather models coming in are a bit more confident in building a couple scattered thunderstorms during the early morning hours of Saturday as a warm front comes through. So we're going to track those showers and those couple of thunderstorms here as this may play out as that warm front comes in at midnight. Nothing tomorrow night. Again, this is now fast forwarding here to Saturday Saturday morning at 4 o'clock. Couple scattered showers and thunderstorms with that warm front moving into southwest Wisconsin, stretching from Camp Douglas to Richland Center to Boscobel to Lone Rock. And then look what happens as we get to 6 o'clock here on Saturday morning. We could have a ignition here of this patch of showers and thunderstorms, mainly west of Madison. So let's say, I-39 down to Madison to Janesville and areas off to the west. A better chance in southwest Wisconsin of seeing this scattered cluster of thunderstorms that then moves towards the south into Illinois, and then it weakens as we get towards noon. Then skies clear out and then we warm on up. And that would be good news if we could get that cluster to get a little bit closer to Madison, because we're down an inch for a month here. And we're already getting closer to getting into the middle part of September here. And we're down a half inch for the year. And this is important to look at, because last year, if you recall, we got into the fall and we got into the winter and we didn't have any snow, we didn't have any precipitation, and we went into that drought mode. And I hope that's not going to pan out here as we go further into the fall and into the winter. But with that in mind, we're going to be keeping an eye on the drought monitor, because it has been a period of time since we have had substantial rainfall, an area of abnormally dry conditions over far, far southeast Wisconsin. I know that's close to where they had the big flash flooding rains in Milwaukee, but the Kenosha area missed out on that appreciable rainfall when we were seeing heavy rainfall across the rest of southern Wisconsin in August. Tonight now, 54 Madison, 54 Lone Rock, some patchy fog developing out there, so be ready for that tomorrow morning. I don't think it's going to be quite as dense as what we saw this morning. Nonetheless, a patch or two of that dense fog, that's all it takes to cause that potential car accident if you're not giving some extra space between you and the fellow commuters. 6 o'clock, widespread patchy fog across all of southern Wisconsin. That burns off by the time we get to 9 o'clock in the morning, and then it's out of here, and then we'll see the sun get down to the ground. That warms the air near the ground, and then that allows the temperatures to increase. We'll do 81 in Madison, 83 in Lone Rock, 84 in Prairie du Chien for high temperatures Friday, and it stays in the 80s all the way through pretty much the entire 10-day forecast. Some of our latest projections coming in right now, we might be looking at some highs near 90 as we go into Sunday, perhaps even warming those temperatures up Monday and Tuesday of next week. And we're staying warm almost all the way through the end of September. And in terms of precipitation, about a 50-50 here. That looks like the rainier conditions may stay just west of the area, so we could use those drops. So any drops we can get, count yourself lucky.
Hope it happens. Thank you, Alex.
Thanks, Alex.
Well, an Amber Alert has been issued for a Portage County child.
Law enforcement believes she may be with her uncle. Ruby Lehman was last seen at her grandmother's house after she got home from school. A vehicle believed to have been driven by her uncle, Jordan Coyle, stopped at the home. Ruby has not been seen since it left. Ruby, 6 years old, brown hair, green eyes, last seen wearing a lavender dress with smiley faces and white shoes with the characters Lilo and Stitch on them.
And Coyle is 34 years old with red hair, a beard, and mustache. He has blue eyes and is about 6'3". Coyle has a peace symbol on his left chest and a dinosaur, puppy, butterfly, and cat tattooed on his arm. He's believed to be driving a white 2001 Ford F-250 with Wisconsin license plates WC-2249. If you have any information on his whereabouts, please contact the Portage County Sheriff's Office.
Well, still to come in sports, Badgers are heading south to take on Alabama, the big challenge that awaits Luke Fickell's squad in Tuscaloosa. That's next.
Well, the Wisconsin Badgers are hitting the road for their next football game.
No, this is quite the road trip. They face a major test with Alabama. This year, the Badgers wanted to upgrade their defense, which slipped a bit last year. Looks like they've done it. They shut out Miami, Ohio, 17-0, and beat Middle Tennessee State 42-10. Meanwhile, Alabama lost at Florida State in its opener, but they rolled past Louisiana Monroe 73-0 last week. Despite this big challenge ahead, Luke Fickell says the coaching staff is taking a step back, allowing the players here to take the lead.
But where last week, on a Monday and a Tuesday, there was a coach that was prodding guys and making sure they understood the urgency and the things that we had to be able to do every single day in practice. That won't be the case this week. So that's sometimes the thing about coaching. You got to recognize when you really got to get the prod out, and when you got to kind of, even step back and let these guys kind of be the leaders that they are and be the emotions that they are and have the week that they will. And so this is one of those ones there's no doubt that these guys are going to be excited about.
Badgers still haven't indicated whether Billy Edwards Jr. is healthy enough to play quarterback this weekend or if Danny O'Neal will get the start. Either way, they're set to square off against the Crimson Tide Saturday, 11 a.m.
Well, the Wisconsin Huddle is back for its third season starting this week. We're bringing Wisconsin sports directly to you, the fans at home, with exclusive insights from the players and behind-the-scenes access that you can't get anywhere else. Wide receiver Trech Kekahuna is the guest player this week, and the first episode is scheduled to air this Friday at 6:30. And right now, the Packers are currently facing off against the Washington Commanders. Head coach Matt LaFleur and defensive tackle Micah Parsons are going against some familiar faces. And right now, I had my phone up. Yep, little over a minute left, this fourth quarter. The score is 27-18 Pack.
There we go.
They're hanging in there.
The Badger women's volleyball team also on the road this weekend. Their first road trip, they're headed to Atlanta to face off against Georgia Tech. Back in December, the Badgers took down the Yellow Jackets to advance in the NCAA tournament. The women's team had the advantage playing at the Fieldhouse back then. As head coach Kelly Sheffield tells us, the claustrophobic environment at Georgia Tech could be a bit of a challenge.
The thing with Georgia Tech, one of the things, they're not only well coached, but it's a small gym, and it's loud and it's packed and it's tight. It's like a small high school gym that is just people sticking their heads through the windows to be able to watch. It can be an attack on your nerves.
Well, that one will start in Atlanta tomorrow night, 6 o'clock Central. After that match, the Badgers heading back home to face off against Marquette. That one will be at Fiserv Forum.
And that's all for sports. Alex is back with a final check of the weather when we come back.
Tonight, I'm going to get through some of these jokes tonight, I promise you.
Colbert's all new with Usher.
I don't say this to all my guests, but you smell good.
CBS Tonight.
And the Packer game just went final. 27-18 Packers win to move to 2-0 at Cleveland next week. Alex is back.
Patchy fog tomorrow morning. Get ready for that, especially for areas Madison and east along I-94 towards Milwaukee. So just take that easy if you have run into any of that patchy fog tomorrow morning. And then we just stay warm all the way through and through the 10-day forecast. Best rain chances Friday night at this point going into Saturday morning, especially for areas west of Madison.
All right, thanks, Alex, and thanks for watching, everyone. News 3 Now at 10. The Late Show with Stephen Colbert is next.
And our next newscast coming up tomorrow morning, starting at 4:30. And of course, you can always find us streaming 24/7 at Channel 3000+. Have a great night.